quiet time is a baby on my hip. Sometimes quiet time is her tugging at my hair and whacking me with her sippy cup because she wants more milk. Hey everybody, it's Amanda and I'm back with another video. So I took a short break just so that I could regroup and get my focus on what thus saith the Lord for my life and for this channel and for each and every one of you. So I took a poll on the community tab. If you guys have never accessed that before, you go to the channel and at the top there are some different sections. It says playlist and different things like that. And one of the options is community tab. So check that out if you haven't had a chance to and participate. I would love to know what videos you would like to see on the channel. So today I'm here in my church building and I took that poll and I decided that I would record the first and the number one requested video, which is, are you struggling to find quiet time to spend with the Lord? If you're a woman who struggles to find quiet time, this is the video for you. It is packed with a few tips that might help you to understand A, the importance of quiet time, and B, how to find it. So I'm going to jump in. I'm going to share with you 7 tips and we're going to talk a little bit. I hope this video blesses you. Feel free to share it with someone and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. So we are going to jump in with tip number 1. Okay, ladies, if you are struggling to find time to spend quietly with the Lord, first of all, I want you to recognize 2 very important things. The first thing is quiet time with God needs to happen, right? It just needs to happen. In order to advance in your walk with God, in order for you to grow spiritually, in order for you to stay connected and not feel like you're a valley of dry bones, in order for you to be able to speak life into other people, to build them up, to pray for them, and to pour out who you are and the gifts that God has given you, you need to tap in, right? You need to get into his presence. You need that quiet time. So number 1, we have to recognize the importance of having quiet time with the Lord, what it means for us and why we need to do it. So recognize its importance. And while we're talking about recognizing, ladies, I want us also to recognize why that it is fought so much and recognize that it is going to be fought. If you've never really thought about your struggle with finding quiet time on the capacity of why, so why it is being fought and why it's important, I want to encourage you to do that. So let's take a quick moment and talk about why it's fought so much. The enemy knows that the number one way to build us up in our faith and help us to be able to pour out and reach souls for the kingdom of God is if we are in prayer, in the presence of God, seeking his face and allowing him to change who we are from the inside out. So it's a God thing, right? God has called us to sup with him, to be in supplication, to spend time with him. And we do that in that quiet time. We do it in our church services. We do it when we're praise and worship and we're in the car, or we're singing in the shower, right? All of that is quiet time with God. But nothing beats the absolute most important thing, which is that moment where it's just you and God, a Bible, a notebook, a pen, some worship music, and you being in his presence. It will change you. And thereby, it will allow you to impact your communities, your families, your church body, your friends, your online community, everyone that you have the ability to speak into their life. You do this by being filled with daily doses of Jesus meetings, right? That's what we need. So recognize is the number 1 tip that I have for you. And no, that's not going to be life altering, but it is going to be spiritually altering, which thereby will change your life once you understand that A, it's necessary, and B, just know right now that it's going to be fought. So let's put a plan in place to fight back. Let's talk about tip number 2. Okay, so tip number 2 is very simple, but it is super vital to every human being's time, male or female, with quiet time with God. And that is to be intentional. So what do I mean? I mean, you're not going to accidentally have quiet time with God. You need to plan it out. So you need to pick a time every day that you're going to say, this is my time. I have a meeting today at 11. Sorry, I'm not going to be able to do that with you guys because I have a meeting. It's very important. It's with a VIP guest. His name is Jesus, right? So be intentional. Carve out a time every day that you have decided is going to be your time that you meet with God. That can be early morning prayer, and I encourage that. It is a great way to start your day before you take it to Facebook, before you take it to social media, before you take whatever your issues and cares and concerns are to the world or a human being. Take them to God first and get a perspective shift in that intentional time that you have set aside specifically for God. So that's tip number 2. And next we're going to talk about tip number 3. Okay, so as important as tips 1 and 2 are, tip number 3 is even more vital. Tip number 3, give yourself grace. Okay, so we know about the grace of God. We need the grace of God every single day that we live. We need Him to give us grace and forgiveness and pick us up and dust us off when we have fallen down. But as important as we need that from Him, guys, we need that for ourselves. It is so, so important that we understand that we are not perfect. And although we've set aside that time every day to meet with God and get into His presence and allow Him to change us, life is going to happen. So my prayer time is 6 a.m. every day, hypothetically speaking, and the alarm doesn't go off. The very first thing the enemy is going to want to do is sneak in with condemnation and tell me I'm a failure, I'm not good enough, you overslept again, girl, there's always a reason, you are a hot mess, you're never going to get this right, God is ashamed of you. Amanda, you can't even do what you say you're going to do. You can't even post videos when you say you're going to post them. You can't do Bible studies when you say you're going to, and you said that you were going to meet with so-and-so and that you were going to do this thing, and the enemy's just going to start with that condemnation that says I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm never going to be able to meet the mark, you overslept, you never have your quiet time when you say you're going to. Why even try? I mean, really, the next thing you know, it's why even try? The next thing is this is too much, it's too hard, I can't do this. Those defeating condemnation thoughts that arise in your mind, we need to recognize that we need to give ourselves grace. The same measure of grace that we seek God for every day is the same measure of grace that we need to allow ourselves to have. Am I saying, oh, just spend quiet time with God whenever you feel like it? It's okay. He understands. You're busy, right? You've got so many things happening. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying pick a time and be intentional, which is tip number 2. But tip number 3 says that when I fall short, when I mess up, when I oversleep, when I need to recognize that it's not about me, that I am flesh and bones. I'm nothing more than a bag of dirt, as one preacher says that comes to our church. But here's the deal. Give yourself grace. Forgive yourself the way Jesus does and understand that you're not perfect and try again later. So maybe it wasn't 6 a.m. Maybe today it's going to be 6 p.m. What matters is that you were intentional and your heart was longing to sup, to have supplication, to spend one-on-one time with God, and you made it happen. And it didn't matter when it got done. What mattered is that it got done. And here's the deal. If today didn't work out and you lay in bed and you pray and you say, tomorrow's a new day, God, I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to serve you with all my power, with all my might. And you get up the next day and you meet with God, then you have fulfilled what it was that He called you to do. You gave yourself grace and forgiveness, and you still pushed through, and you still met with Him in your quiet time. Let's talk about tip number 4. Okay, so as important as it is that you find a time that you are going to set aside and carve out and be intentional to meet with God, it's equally as important that you designate a place. I find for myself personally that if I pick a place that is comfortable, not so comfortable that I want to fall asleep, especially if my quiet time is first thing in the morning, but it is a place that is conducive to get into the presence of God, right? So I find that if I walk and pace, especially first thing in the morning while I'm praying, if I hold my Bible and I walk throughout my living room floor, that is a place that I can meet with God, that I'm not so comfortable I'll fall asleep, but I'm up and I'm active and I'm moving, but it's also quiet at that time during the day. And it is a place and an atmosphere that I can create, that I can welcome in the presence of God without the interruption of the hectic chaos of the day that is about to happen, I'm quite certain in most of your worlds as it does in mine. And that place is the designated place where Jesus and I get together, where I connect with Him, where He pours into me as I pour out the things that are on my mind and heart and soul that I need to talk with Him about so desperately every day. day. So finding a place that works for you. This might be a process. You might have to start in one place and then you realize, oh, this is too loud. Maybe you realize this is too chaotic of an atmosphere and environment. I just really, for some reason, can't tap in here. I'm very distracted. So then the next day you might find another place. So find that place while you're being intentional and you've set your time and you have recognized the importance, and ladies, that it is going to be fought. Let's talk about the next tip. Okay, so here's the deal. I don't know about you, but last time I tried to do a lifestyle change, diet, exercise, healthy habits, I tended to want to fall off the bandwagon. I wanted to make some decisions that were not always good, but what I found in that moment was that if I had someone that could help to hold me accountable, right? So like an accountability partner, someone that could say, come on, Amanda, we're gonna do this. We're gonna eat healthy today. What are you putting in your body? What did you have for breakfast? What are you planning on making your family for dinner tonight, right? That accountability partner. So the same way that that works for diet, exercise, lifestyle, that it works for people who are struggling with addictions and they're kind of calling in and tapping in to their counselor and their accountability partner. The same thing works with God, right? The same thing works with our relationship with Christ. And if you are setting aside daily quiet time, and maybe you have a friend or a group of friends, maybe you have someone who has said, hey, let's do this thing together. Let's partner up. And each day, maybe we'll share just a quick text. What did you get out of your quiet time with God? What was God speaking into your heart today? Do you see where I'm going with that? An accountability partner is huge, and it can be pivotal in your relationship with God. And it can help you because maybe you haven't had a chance to do your quiet time the way that you had envisioned on doing it in your perfect planning of the day. But when you get that text, hey, what did you get out of your quiet time today? Was there a Bible verse that you really was resonating well with you today? Maybe share that. And maybe when you get that text, you'll realize, oh my gosh, the morning slipped away from me and I wasn't able to do my quiet time the way that I had planned. This will be just a nice subtle reminder. And you can text back and say, the enemy is fighting today. Please pray that I'm able to tap in later today and that I can make this a priority because it's life changing, not only for my life, but for my family's life. Not only for my family, but my community. We are changing the world and impacting for Christ every day we live through these small actions. So an accountability partner would really change the atmosphere in your quiet time. Okay, so tip number 6, in addition to having an accountability partner or partners, I strongly encourage you to become a part of a small group. What is that? It literally is a small group. A collective group of like-minded body of believers who get together. It can be an online environment. It can be a physical location that you meet up. You might do Bible studies together. You might get together and do prayer meetings. If you can't physically find a location in a small group, if you don't attend a church in your local area, I encourage you to find an online small group to be a part of. There are Facebook groups. Use social media to your advantage and find a group of believers that you can connect with, whether it's via a messenger chat, whether it is whatever form of social media that you use. Maybe it's YouTube, maybe it's commenting underneath this video and reaching out and finding other people who would like to start emailing back and forth, maybe a pen pal relationship. And once again, kind of like that accountability partner, you can say, hey guys, let's study the book of Jeremiah. Maybe let's tap into Lamentations and find out what God was really saying to the people in that book. And you can kind of dissect the word of God. Maybe you can share prayer requests. Find a small group and allow God to encourage you through his body. All right, guys, so this is the 7th and final tip for this video. And if these tips have been helpful to you, comment below and let me know. And if you are struggling in finding quiet time with the Lord and really carving that out and making that your own, comment below and let me know. I would love to pray and allow God to help you to kind of mold and make this into something that you are able to do every single day because it is so important. The last tip number 7, is be flexible. So just like the way you need to give yourself grace, right? When the day gets away from you and you're not able to do this thing that you desperately know that you need. Be flexible. Sometimes quiet time for me looks like solitude and peace and quiet and tranquility, and the lights are dim and the praise and worship music is playing softly in the background, and I'm weeping before God and He's changing me. And that is what it looks like sometimes. And I long, I've got to be honest with you, I long for quiet time to look like that every day of my life. But I'm going to be real and transparent with you. Sometimes quiet time is a baby on my hip. Sometimes quiet time is her tugging at my hair and whacking me with her sippy cup because she wants more milk. And I really feel like I'm not able to tap into the presence of God. Sometimes quiet time isn't so quiet. And that's okay. What matters is you roll with the punches and you go through the processes and you meet with God. And even if you can't 100% focus because you're being torn in so many different directions, whether that be kids, whether that be a spouse, whether that be animals, no matter what that is for you, push. Pray until something happens. Push through and have that quiet time. That time isn't always literally physically going to be audibly quiet, but what it is going to be is a sacrifice. And God is going to meet you there through the chaos of your reality, whatever that looks like for you. And He is going to change you, encourage you, and build you up so that you can then pour out into other believers in ways just like I pray this video has for you today. So check out that community tab, ladies. Vote on what you want the next video to be. If there is something that's on your heart that you would love to see a video about, I would love to make it for you. So comment underneath the options I gave you and let me know what you really, really need to hear from God about, because I will pray about it and I will seek the throne room of God and I will ask Him to give me words of encouragement for you, because that's what this channel is. That's what this SKM family is all about. We are staying kingdom-minded together, one video, one prayer, and one word at a time. I pray this video has built you up, has encouraged you to carve out some quiet time, and I pray that these 7 tips will really resonate with you. Comment below, let me know that you stopped by. What do you plan on implementing? What tip from this video encouraged you? What word that was spoken has built you up today? Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for believing in our ministry, and thank you for continuing to push, to pray until something happens, and to continue to seek ye first the kingdom of God, Matthew 6:33, because He's going to meet you where you are and He's going to do amazing things. He already is. Thank you so much. Give this video a big thumbs up, and I will see you girls in the next video. Don't forget, wherever you are, like studying for another patho test and making videos for your friends, to stay kingdom minded, and I will see you guys in the next video.